Thanks for checking out my Life After 50 YouTube channel. I am just trying to share some videos of things that I've experienced along the way that might be important for other people. You know, when I turned 50, I made this proclamation that I was going to make age 50 to 75 the best years of my life. However, you can't just proclaim your way to good times. In fact, sometimes life gets in the way. Hard things happen, things out of your control, like a pandemic or getting laid off or a divorce or something else come your way, and you're ill prepared for it. You don't know what to do, and it just isn't the best years of your life. What I found when I went through a time like this, and I went through some pretty serious depression, and it still comes back from time to time, I found that there were three things that I needed to do to be able to help me while I was sort of in a spiral. Number one was I reached out to friends who had shared with me that they had been through some hard times. You know, people who've struggled with some mental health problems and come to the other side, they have a really fresh, a really good perspective on this. So reach out to your friends who've shared with you that they've had struggles, or someone in their family have had struggles, because they can give you some perspective. It's not your spouse, your husband, your wife, your best friend. It's somebody who you know who can give you an outside perspective and guide you just a little bit. So the first thing is reach out to some friends. The second thing is tell your spouse you're struggling. No matter what, they need to know what your situation is. And the truth is, because they live with you, they probably know something's not going right. When I went through my problems, I read this piece of advice that said, tell your spouse how you're feeling and what you're going through. And when my wife woke up, I told her about the situation that I had been in for a month or more. And she was aware of it. She just didn't know what to do. And she sat down and we talked, and she was supportive. And then the third tip is get a therapist. You know, especially if you're over 50, a lot of us grew up with the attitude, my dad would have said, suck it up, buttercup, you'll be fine. A lot of us were told not to let people see any weakness, not to show when we're struggling, but to put on that happy face and go out into the world. But what I've learned over the last few years, that's not the healthiest, best thing to do. Sometimes you have to admit to yourself and to others that you're having a rough time, and there's nothing wrong with going and seeking professional help. The great news is, for those people who are younger, who are a generation or two beyond me, the younger generation, they're open about it. They tell their friends about their therapist. They tell people they can't meet up for lunch because they have a therapy appointment. But people who are older, people who are in their 50s and 60s, we tend to hold things closer to the vest. And I will tell you, the most freeing thing I did was get a therapist, tell my spouse I was struggling, and let my friends into this world. So if you're going through a rough time, and maybe you stumbled upon this video because you're trying to figure out what to do those things. Look for some friends, look to the people closest to you, and get some professional help. I will tell you, it was really hard for me to go to a therapist, and I thought it wasn't going to be useful. But after 6 months, it really made a huge difference in what I was trying to do. Oh, and one last tip. If you're really having a rough time, you're not going to solve it in 2 months or 3 months. It might take a year or longer to be able to work your way through and understand how to fight off those demons that are on your shoulder, making you feel like crap. But you're not alone. Other people have gone through this and come out the other side much stronger. Other people are going through it right now who will come out this side stronger. And people are going to come behind you who are going to need you to help show them the way that they can get to the other side. So mental health problems are real. If you're struggling, please, please, please get some help.